What is up, YouTube? This is Randy's Commentaries. I know, you guys are kind of tired of seeing all these new channels come out with commentaries saying same old, big whoop. But here today, I would usually sit here and introduce myself into this new video, but this is the most I'm going to say about myself. My name is Randy. I'm 16. Boom. Now let's get into this topic today. I don't know, for our first commentary, this topic is very serious, but I decided to sit down and talk about sex, drugs, prostitutes, and money. Those are four big things to big pimps out there, people that run the streets at night, all that kind of stuff. Those are four big things to them. But is it worth risking your life doing all this just to earn sex, have drugs, prostitutes, and money? Alright, let's start it off with sex. We all like sex. Everybody that's had sex likes sex. Virgins that want to have sex fantasize about having sex. They jerk off about watching porn, which is sex. I understand. Sex is a universal thing, but it comes to the point where sex and prostitutes, we all know, they're the same thing. Prostitutes sell their bodies for what? Sex, for a certain amount of money. And I understand it's a career choice that you decided to do, even though it's not good for you. Many prostitutes go out there, have sex, get STDs. Their life gets ruined. They have kids. They have to do all this stuff for the child, or to keep a house, or just to have money in their pockets. I understand life is hard, but you should never be able to resort to the fact of being a prostitute and selling your body on the streets. You should always be able to get up and say, hey, let me get up and go get that job I've always wanted and earn that money that I need for myself, my family, or my house, instead of resorting to prostitution. I understand a lot of women like prostitution. They like selling their bodies for money. They like doing all this, but is it really worth gaining STDs, almost losing your life, getting beat? You're gonna have to do whatever the guy says because he paid you, and you have to do what he says. Why? Because he paid you. That's one note that some people don't think about. Like, oh, she's a prostitute. Oh my gosh, she's a whore. But then I understand she's a whore because she fucks a lot of men. But sometimes they do it for a reason. But it's never really worth becoming a prostitute selling yourself for sex. Sex and prostitutes do combine, but sex and prostitutes are two different things. Sex, who doesn't want to have sex, all right? Virgins, everybody, they want to have sex. They want to feel the vagina. They want to feel the pussy. They want to feel what it feels like to lose their virginity to a girl. Or if you're gay, you want to feel the virginity, lose your virginity to a guy or a girl if you're a lesbian. And, everybody wants to feel the temptation and the sensation of sex running through them. I understand you're only going to be there for like 2-3 minutes, but you still get to feel the sensation that arouses men, that makes men only want sex, even though there's many men that don't only want sex. But if you guys understand what I mean. Now we move on forward to drugs and money. Well, drugs alone. Drug dealers, people that smoke weed, people that do crack, people that do heroin. I understand you do it once. Most people do it one time. They get addicted, and that's it. They don't decide to go to rehab, and they sit there spending any money they get on crack, heroin, or weed, which is mostly crack and heroin and meth. Now, do you think it's right to just fall into crack just because somebody tells you, oh, you should try this, blah, 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 just because your best friend tells you you should try crack? Now, what if because of that best friend you tried the crack and you ended up addicted to it? Whose fault would it be, yours or his? It'd be both your faults. Not only one, he's your best friend, he shouldn't be making you try drugs, but another one is you tasted it. You're the one that was like, okay, why not? Let me try it. They might think I'm not cool because I didn't try it. Big fucking whoop, you always got to deal with it. Now I understand not a lot of people are addicted to weed because weed is it's just a drug. A lot of people smoke and a lot of people do, especially in New York City. A lot of people smoke weed here, but crack and meth and weed and all this, they're still drugs. They're still bad for you in one type of way, whether you think about it or not. Whether you don't, weed doesn't kill, blah blah blah. Honestly, even if it doesn't kill, it's still bad for you in a way. And if you don't believe me, look it up. Think about it before you do it. Crack and meth lead to death, lead to addiction, lead to losing everything just because you smoke crack, because you do meth, because you inject heroin into your body. I understand, as human individuals, it's something bad. But for drug dealers that sit down, rack up inventory of weed, fucking crack, heroin, meth, drug dealers that stack up and sell that stuff on the corner of your streets and don't get caught by the cops. You always have to think about it. They don't care what happens to you unless you're close to them, unless you know them, unless you're really, you're like family to them. They don't care what happens to you if you're spending $5 on a dime of weed just to go home and smoke it with your friends. They don't care what happens to you when you get caught by the cops with weed in your back pocket. They don't care. You bought it for them. Big whoop, you spend $5, $10 on a dime, whatever it costs. I don't care how much it costs. I'm not knowledgeable on it because I don't do it. But they don't care what happens to you. The more you smoke it, the more you do it. But the drug dealers, the more you buy from them, the more money they make. I'm pretty sure on the average, a drug dealer makes about $10,000 a day. Why? Adults, teenagers, spending money on weed, drugs. Just to what? Get into a different world, a different universe that's not this. You want to get away from what's going on, really. I understand, for some people they live hard lives and drugs keep them away, but they distance themselves from real life. But you shouldn't do it. You should find other ways to distance yourself from the bad, distance yourself from what's happening in your family, because drugs is never the way. You may be wasting, you could get a lot of money, but you could waste all your money. All your money you get, either you work, you spend money on weed, you can lose all of that just spending it on drugs. You losing money and you're putting money in drug dealers' pockets, making them rich. Whether or not they get arrested, if they get bail, they're easily able to get out of jail. Now, if you get arrested and they give you bail and you have no money and it's because you got caught with drugs on you, think about it. Why don't you have money? Because you spent it on drugs. Now, sex, drugs, and prostitutes all connect to money, I understand. But they all have different things to do with it. Money itself runs the world, whether or not you like it or not. Yes, there are knowledgeable people out there that tells you good from bad, they tell you wrong or right. But money still runs the world, no matter what you say. You can't do nothing without you having money. You may have family, you may have loved ones, you may have best friends, but money still runs the world. That's why many people struggle to get jobs, because most jobs are taken up because people want to earn their own money. I understand. Money does everything for you. Buys food, pays rent, helps you buy supplies for your babies, supplies for your job, supplies for school for kids going to school now. They help you buy these games. They help you buy games. Call of Duty, you're spending $65 on it every year, but they help you buy it. They help you buy game systems. If you're recording, you do commentary, they help you buy mics, HD PVRs, Elgato. They help you buy whatever you need for yourself. That's why money runs the world. So without money, this world will not go round, whether or not we have peace and prosperity and whatever you want to call it. It's still money runs the world. Now, before you go home and tell, at your age, you may be 12, I don't need money. All right, you may not need money now. But once you start earning the money, you start realizing how hard it is to live on your own and get your own things. You'll realize that money does run the world. These famous people are earning money. They're earning big bucks. But guess what? You may not be earning those big bucks. Guess what? At least you're still earning the amount of money you have. A lot of people don't earn the amount of money you have, so don't complain just because Kobe Bryant's making millions, LeBron James making millions. All these people making millions, but worry about yourself, don't worry about them. Don't let them influence you on how you get your own things. Don't let other people influence you into prostitution, sex, and drugs. This has been Randy's Commentaries, and I'm out. Peace.